So the team of the season is finally here, and we have our Young Gun cards for week 1. So the way that this works, if you're unfamiliar with how team of the season goes, is all of these players will automatically get an upgrade, just like team of the year cards right now. If any of these players get an upgrade in their overall, their team of the season card will get an automatic upgrade, and you don't have to pay for it like you do an X Factor card. Now let's talk about how you can acquire some of these players. You're going to have to turn in 20 collectibles, and you'll have a choice pack of one of 3 of these team of the season players for the Young Gun portion of this for week 1. There's also a few different sets you could do. Number 1 on that list is Jordan Kyrou's Evo card. There's also one for Connor Bedard, Noah Dobson, and Jack Hughes also has one. In addition to that, we have Rasmus Dahlin, Jake Oettinger, Quinn Hughes, and keep in mind that's his Rivals card, Trevor ZEGRAS' card, and then lastly, let's take a look and see at the price of these collectibles. Now this is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen from the previous events. For a 91 plus overall card, you're only going to get 4 collectibles, and right now guys, keep in mind for this price point, write this down, 15,000 coins per collectible. That's right about the going rate from what I've seen in the marketplace right now, at least on Xbox Series X. The 1-for-1 collectible for the 86 overall card is really the best bet right now. So keep in mind, if we're taking an example of that, anything that's going to be more than 15,000 coins per collectible is not going to be a good buy. Now, that's kind of the bare minimum, so I expect these prices to come down just a little bit once maybe some of the hype wears off. But it's going to be pretty expensive comparatively to the 5,000 to 6,000 coin range per collectible that we've seen before, especially how this event is going to be done. So if you have untradeable cards, make sure you're using those prior to your tradables. And hey, if you're not looking to make any of these ones out of this week, you can either hold on to those cards, or if you'd rather have a tradable version of these players, you can of course then go ahead and sell those players that you have right now. An 86 or an 87 overall is going to go for a lot more coins than it was just a few weeks ago. Starting off, we have the 99 overall Michael Bunting, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Each one of these synergies is going to give you 3 points. So obviously this card's pretty cracked out to begin with. You could change this to distributor, get him 99 speed. Being that he's 99 overall already, it's obviously incredible. The only downfall is he's 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, so he's gonna be taking off the puck a little bit easier, so probably wouldn't be my first choice. But man, this card is phenomenal. Crease Crasher, tape to tape, silver truculence, unstoppable force in close quarters, and also has gold no contest, which we haven't seen a lot of players with that one, but in my opinion, that is one of the better ones as well. So Michael Bunting, not a bad first choice. Up next is the 6'1", 195 pound Jordan Kyrou, very similar to his Evo card. He does have some pretty good abilities. I would probably activate silver close quarters. Wouldn't really look to activate the other ones. I just don't think they're worth the points, especially for a card that's already 99 out across the board. Again, downfall with him, 6'1", 195. He's kind of borderline where you want as far as a little bit of a taller winger. However, he really could play anywhere in your lineup, and this card's obviously cracked. Okay, this card is deadly. 6'6", 218 pound TAGE Thompson. You can get his excel up to a 91 and speed up to a 92. Yeah, 6'6", 218 is a big boy. He's going to feel a lot like the right-hand version of Keith Premio that's out right now. If you have his Team Builder card, you know what I'm talking about. He does have gold close quarters, as well as Total Eclipse, Silver Quick Draw, Big Rig, Elite Edges, and Third Eye. I probably would activate gold close quarters on him. Obviously, I would more preferably play him at center. I think being 6'6", 218, he's going to be extremely hard to take off the puck. This is probably one of the more sought after ones, especially if you're a player that prefers to have puck possession and likes to play with bigger players. TAGE Thompson is going to be probably on the top of that list. Up next is the 6', 187 pound Robert Thomas. Had a great season. Kind of under the radar, sneaky good, but 95 acceleration, 94 speed. Obviously, guys, a lot of these cards are already immaculate. As far as his zone and superstar abilities go, I don't really love anything on here. I do like silver close quarters on him. I don't love gold tape to tape. I think he's still a great card, but again, I'm looking at size, and that's probably one of the things you should err on the side of caution for, is a lot of these players are going to vary as far as their overalls go, especially as the rest of the game goes on. And depending on how long you're looking to play the game for, obviously invest in your favorite cards. All these cards are going to be phenomenal, but Robert Thomas probably wouldn't be very high on my list simply due to the fact that he's only 6 foot, 187 pounds. And I just think there's better ones in here. Next up is the 5'11", 176 pound Jack Hughes, one of the fastest cards that we have in the game. You can get his acceleration up to a 98, or you can keep his acceleration at a 96 and bump up his speed as well to a 96. He does have gold wheels in addition to that, and he has some great superstar abilities to coincide. I think this card probably will get up to a 99, much like his card did last year. So I would say overall, Jack Hughes, if you're a fan of him, go ahead, pick him up, but he's taken off the puck quite easily, and in my opinion, I'm not going to look to pick him up, but it's going to be a fun card nonetheless. It's no surprise here, TREVOR ZEGRAS gets a card, 6 foot, 183 pounds, one of the more exciting players in the game. I do like the fact that they gave him all alone as well as It's Tricky. Pretty useless for HUT unless you're trying to pull a Michigan on somebody, but that being said, this card is still pretty incredible. Again, I'm looking at size, guys. I'm going to keep harping on that, especially with a lot of the bigger players that are out now. If you're looking for the best team in the game, I would probably steer clear of this card, but if you're just looking to play with your favorite players as well as a fun card like TREVOR ZEGRAS card, then I would go ahead and pick him up. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to play with. Another really fun card in this game is the 5'10", 181 pound Connor Bedard. If you did have his 22 under 22 card, as I mentioned earlier, there is a set that you can complete in order to get this one as well. So keep that in mind. That is how you can go ahead and acquire Connor Bedard's card. He does have Make It Snappy as well as close quarters. I probably err on the side of close quarters. Obviously at 5'10", 181, he's going to be knocked off the puck pretty easily, but this would be a really fun card to play with. One of the better cards in this lineup is RASMUS DAHLIN, 6'2", 207. Again, if you had his 22 under 22 card, you can also acquire him through sets rather than doing the choice pack. As far as zone and superstar abilities are concerned, I don't love Heat Seeker, but I do like Shutdown as well as Silver 1T. So those are the two that I would look to activate on him. 92 speed, 92 acceleration. He's going to be quick enough, 6'2", 207. I think he's one of the better left-handed defensemen that you can get out of this event, but I would probably not spend the house on him. I think there's going to be better options here for the rest of the team this season. Another great right-handed defenseman option is the 6'4", 183 pound Noah Dobson. He does have Spark, Protector, as well as Light the Lamp, and of course, many other synergy options that you have. Keep that in mind, though. He only does have 1 point for Spark, but he also has 3 points for Distributor. So if you choose to increase his speed versus his acceleration, then that means you're going to have a 92 speed and 90 acceleration, and it's going to count for 3 points towards the rest of your synergies for the rest of your team. So keep that in mind. That being said, he also does have Silver 1T, Silver Seeing Eye, Silver Stick 'em Up, Silver Quick Pick, as well as Tape to Tape. Really, these first four are all incredible, so I would probably look to activate some of those. I think he's going to be fairly cheap compared to probably some of the other ones in here, and I do like his size at 6'4", 183 with 99 body checking. I feel that as long as he can knock people off the puck with that size, I think he'd probably be one of the better right-handed defensemen in the game. Jake Ottinger needs no introduction, 6'5", 220 pounds. He does have gold light work, just like his 22 under 22 card. Obviously, synergies here are going to be great. They're going to give you 3 points across the board here for all of these, so that is extremely helpful. 6'5", 220, that's going to be really helpful as well in net. And if you have his previous card, you can also upgrade that to his Team of the Season card. Troy Terry gets a well-deserved Team of the Season card. He did cool off a little bit as the year went on, but man, he had a great season. I don't think a lot of people, at least myself, did not see this coming out of him. 6 foot, 181 pounds. He's a bit smaller, but he's going to be a fun card to play with, and I'm really happy that he got his well-deserved Team of the Season card. 93 excel, 93 speed, shot is pretty solid. Again, all of these have a ton of superstar abilities that you can put on. Really, I think regardless of where these players are in your lineup, for the most part, they did a pretty good job with zone and superstar abilities across the board where you can mix and match a couple that would be advantageous for your playstyle. ARSHDEEP BAINS, I believe is how you say this gentleman's name. Hopefully I'm getting that right, but 6 foot, 176 pounds. This looks like a really fun card to play with too. I do like gold big rig. I think it's one of the more underutilized ones if you are holding A lot and L2ing. So to me, that's one of the better ones. He also does have silver close quarters, 92 acceleration, 92 speed. Shot's pretty good. Hands are pretty solid. Everything else across the board is pretty good. The only thing that I would be slightly concerned about in regards to his card is I don't know how many more upgrades he's going to get throughout the year, being that he's not on an NHL team. Not really sure what that looks like. However, you never know. He could come out of nowhere and get a couple upgrades, but being that he's not in the limelight quite as much as some of these other players that are in the NHL, I may steer clear of this card, but you might be able to pick him up for relatively cheap on the auction house. JESPER BRATT also gets a card, 94 acceleration, 94 speed. Good to see him get a card as well. 5'10", 185 pounds. Shot's pretty good. Hands are great. Really, all these cards for the most part are pretty solid. I wouldn't spend the house on him either. I think he's a bit too small. But hey, if you're a Devils fan, make Jack Hughes, make JESPER BRATT, make some of these players. They're going to be a lot of fun to play with, and they're not going to cost you anything to upgrade them in the future. CLARKE gets a card, 6'1", 181 pounds. He does have gold stick 'em up, which is actually one of my favorite ones, especially with the increased shutdown. I think stick 'em up is just as good. Just about. Maybe not as OP as gold shutdown was, but needless to say, he also does have silver 1T and silver seeing eye. A little bit challenging, at least for me, to hit some of those 1Ts from the right-handed defenseman rather than the left-handed defenseman. I think he's going to be a solid card, but like I said, for some of these players that aren't in the NHL currently, you might be able to pick him up for pretty cheap, and he could be a solid buy, especially if you get some more upgrades throughout the season. I just don't know how often that's going to be. CORMIER gets a card at 5'10", 176 pounds. Shot is pretty good, 93 acceleration, 93 speed. I don't love him at 5'10", 176 pounds on defense. I think he might be more of a liability for you, but if you like those faster defensemen, you can even throw on silver wheels with him. And, you know, he's not going to be a bad card. He might be one that would be fun to play with. I just think if you're playing competitively at 85 body checking and 5'10", 176 pounds, he might be pretty much of a liability in your defensive zone. PIERRE-LUC Dubois gets a card at 6'3", 218 pounds. I think this card is going to be a lot of fun to play with. 91 acceleration, 91 speed. He's a little bit slow, but you can't play him at center. Although his faceoffs are only an 84 overall, you're going to want to activate distributor as well as spark on him. So we definitely need that speed at where it is at 91 speed, 91 acceleration. I would probably, I don't know if I'd spend the house on him. I'm a little bit concerned about his lower face-off rating and his a little bit slower speed. At 6'3", 218 though, he's big enough where he's going to be pretty difficult to take off the puck. I think he's going to play a lot like the X Factor Draisaitl, where they're a little bit slower, they have a solid shot, good hands, but I may even go after a Draisaitl before I would go after this card. But hey, if you're a fan of him, go ahead and pick him up as well. Up next at 6'1", 176 pound goaltender, GARAND. I probably wouldn't pick him up. I'd probably try to avoid. He does have gold post to post and silver light work, which is a great combo, but it's 6'1". Yeah, I probably wouldn't steer clear of this card. It's not going to be worth it. Up next is the 6'3", 209 pound defenseman, GUHLE, I believe. I could be saying that wrong. I apologize if I am. But this card actually looks really fun. 91 acceleration, 92 speed. He also has gold 1T, silver truculence, silver stick 'em up, and gold shutdown. 92 body checking. I think this would be a really dangerous card, especially if you got a couple more upgrades throughout the rest of the year. Again, though, as I mentioned, I know the season isn't even close to done yet for some of these players, but I'm just concerned with some of the non-NHL players, how often they're going to receive those upgrades, especially with the team of the season card already out at 92 overall. I just don't see him getting a ton more upgrades, but hey, you never know. Hopefully he does. I think if he gets a couple more, he'd be really deadly, but even right now with his size and his speed and really his abilities, I think this card would be a lot of fun to play with. Love to see the Quinn Hughes got a card, 5'10", 175 pounds. He's a bit smaller than the rest. I really wish he had gold or silver truculence, but he doesn't, or else that would make this card really deadly. But 97 excel, 97 speed. I had his Halloween Rivals card earlier in the year. If you did still hang on to that and didn't consolidate it into a set like I did, well, then you would be able to also upgrade this card to the team of the season. So keep that in mind. If you have that Rivals card and you're still hanging on to it, or maybe it's in your lineup even, you can upgrade that to his team of the season card with some additional team of the season collectibles. So keep that in mind if Quinn Hughes is one of your favorite players and you still have that card. Otherwise, well, you can always make his team of the season card from scratch. So something to be cognizant of moving forward. Up next is Wyatt Johnston, 6 foot, 167 pounds. I think he's going to get bodied off the puck way too easily at 167. But if you're a Johnston fan, by all means, go ahead and pick up his card. He does have close quarters as well as gold quick draw. You know, certainly could help him as far as the shot's concerned. Unstoppable force might help him being from knocked off the puck all the time, but I probably would steer clear of this card. Up next is Topi Niemela, I believe. I probably am pronouncing that wrong as well. I apologize for the mispronunciation if I did mess that up, but 5'11", 165, again, he's going to be a liability in your defensive zone, and at 165 pounds, I just don't think defensively he's going to cut it. I wish he had gold or silver truculence. That would make it a little bit more advantageous, but I'd probably steer clear to making this card. Up next are the two Red Wings players that we have been waiting for, and probably to no surprise to many of us, got team of the season cards. Lucas Raymond is up first on that list at 5'10", 183 pounds, 93 excel, 94 speed. Shot is pretty incredible. He does have close quarters as well as elite edges. So those are probably the two I would look to activate, especially if you're playing him high in your lineup. And if you're a Red Wings fan, this is probably a must make for a lot of you. If you're not a Red Wings fan, this still might be a must make card. 6'4", 196 pound Moritz SEIDER, right-handed defenseman, probably gonna be one of the best in the game here relatively soon. He does have spark or distributor, so you can either bump up that acceleration to a 92 or his speed to a 92. I'd probably lean more towards acceleration. 99 body checking, which is huge. I wish he did have gold truculence. He does not, but he does have seeing eye as well as heat seeker, shutdown, elite edges, and back at you, which is an interesting one. So not really in love with his zone or superstar abilities, but as far as size and really just an exciting player goes, I think he's probably one of the better ones in this lineup. And last but not least, this card, I don't know, man. I have no idea even what to say about this. 6'8", 238 pounds. Elmer Soderblom, I believe is how you say his name. 92 acceleration, 90 speed. Like this card, it came out of nowhere. Dude, this could be deadly. Unstoppable force and big rig, in addition to close quarters. Like, I don't know. It's center. This could really be a lot of fun to play with. Like 6'8" center. This might be a must-make card. I just don't know, again, as far as upgrades are concerned, how often he's going to get them. But man, this card would be a lot of fun to play with, and I might just make it just for the sheer fact of enjoyment, just to see how it is. That's it for me on this one today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a like, and if you love NHL 22 content, make sure you go ahead and click subscribe. Again, I'm Man Advantage, and I'll see you guys next time.